Okay, today we're talking about place a little bit more. So you've seen some other videos where we do it off leash. The dog has to really be food motivated to want to come to the person, right? When they get on the place cot, that's when we name it. And then additionally, we're going to feed, right? So if you don't have that strong food drive, you're feeding out of a bowl, you're not feeding their daily meals through training. And then I have her breakfast here. And she'll have about 2 cups in the morning, about 2 cups in the evening. And I'm going to train throughout the entire day with those 2 cups. But the goal is to get the meal completed, right? You can measure it out through the day, but you want to get the entire day's worth, right? And get those calories in, but through training. Down the road, you're not going to have to keep using food all the time. You can, but you know, we're associating these new games and training with fun activities that she is interested in because she wants to eat. We talk a little bit more in other videos about how dogs always look to better their situation. And for this particular training protocol, she's looking to better her situation by eating, right? She's hungry. So additionally, when we put on leash pressure and on a prong collar, that guidance, right, pulling of the leash with a constricted prong collar, it's uncomfortable. Now, we don't have to pull hard, but to make sure that she succeeds, we're going to have her on a leash. There's only one way to go. But going to the place cot releases leash pressure, and she also gets fed. So add another step to that, remote collar, okay? Press the button when we give the command, and it's on until completion or change in behavior. We talk about that a lot. So she can better her situation by completing the command, getting fed, also releasing leash pressure and releasing stimulation from the remote collar. Let's start with simply just leading the dog to place with the leash. Again, we're going to be on a prong collar. You put a dog in a harness and the dog's interested in something over here, but you're pulling on the harness, and we talk about it, that's propelling the dog in the opposite direction, okay? Harnesses are for pulling, that's it. We want to give a slight consequence for going the wrong direction, all right? So when we start these leash guidance drills for place, the place cot is long, right? Your dog is long. You should be walking and approaching the place cot so that it's very easy for your dog to get on there. All right, there shouldn't be a lot of pulling and wrestling around, and it's in the path of which your dog is going to walk anyway. So just walk to the place cot. The dog should get right up there. If you need to lure with food, that's fine as well. If you've seen the other videos, you know that she knows place very well. She'll go right to it. I don't have to use a food lure, but I can. Now, your bridge words, right? Your saying the word good before we say the word yes. And on yes, food is released. So remember some of those, right? You can mark a behavior that you like with good. You can mark a behavior that you don't like with no. After the word good, the dog should anticipate reinforcement. After the word no, the dog should anticipate punishment. All right, so here's a look at it. We'll get started. You know, I do a lot of turns, get the dog just right in line. And here it is. We walk up to the place cot. There's nowhere for her to go except on the cot, right? Place. Good. Now that bridge word of good means food is coming. Yes. Place, a reminder, and food. All right, now think about your word that you want to use here, right? You're going to use the word H-E-E-L to have the dog with you. If you use a release word like all done or free, the dog can run wherever it wants. But that's not what we're teaching here, okay? So it's heel. Now we walk back. Now it's repeat, 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 right? Place. Good. Place. Back to naming it. feeding on naming it? Place? Yes. Heel. Place. Now what was different about that one? Yes. I said place before she was on place. So if you remember looking back at the foundational videos, I'm not naming the position anymore. Instead, I'm giving a command to go to the position. So consider that, right? And as she gets better and better, you can start commanding her to go. All right? Heel. Add a little bit more distance to it. Place. Good. All right, that's not a behavior that I want. So I trap the food in my hand. I don't want you standing. I don't want you about to crawl on me. So she's not going to get it. It's that simple. We can shape that behavior. I don't necessarily need a consequence by pulling the leash. I can, but instead I trap the food. If you give the food for that, right, you're reinforcing behavior. Reinforcement is to encourage, and it will continue. Heel. Okay, again, I'll get a little more distance. Place. There it is. Good. Place. All right, that time I sped up. I moved faster towards the place cot, but I also commanded with more distance. So I'm guiding her with movement. I'm guiding her with the leash. If she decides she wants to go the opposite way, right, here's your control variable. Here's to ensure that she can succeed. Heel. Place. Place. All right, great example. Leash guidance back. All right, now I made sure it was constricted just slightly because leaving is incorrect. All right, and we can add remote collar to this. We're going to very, very soon. So I'll take you step by step. Heel. Now what's important too is you don't feed for that, right? It's not good, bad, good, and then food. She did great when she went there. She did bad when she left. I gave her punishment for leaving. I released the punishment, I released the leash pressure, and I made it comfortable for her going back. It was uncomfortable for leaving, comfortable for going back. I'm not going to feed after that. I'm not going to get manipulated into watch me be good, I'll be bad to get attention and the interaction sometimes from some dogs, and he'll feed me anyway. So we're not doing that, right? All right, here it is. Placed. All right, a little leash tension. Place. Good. All right, the leash makes sure she succeeds. Now, she just needs a little encouragement, right? I don't need to deny the reinforcement and not feed for that. She just needed to be reminded exactly where to go. So she didn't do something correctly and then not stay. All right, she just needed a little encouragement to get there. Heel. Place. There we go. Place. Good girl. Okay, let's get set up and we'll start remote collar. We're going to layer that on soon. You guys will see exactly how that works as well. Okay, we've gotten some repetitions on guiding a dog to place with the leash, right? The leash makes sure that the dog can succeed. It can't go that way, we're going to bring it right back. All right, when you layer on remote collar, this is an absolute must, okay? You have this funny sensation on the dog, and if the dog doesn't know what to do with it or how to complete something to turn off that sensation, and the dog goes that way, right? Then you're chasing your dog to bring it back to place, and the stimulation is left on, when in fact most people are just going to turn it off and tuck it away. So what you taught your dog is if you flee that direction, the sensation turns off. That's not what we're teaching, right? So when you add something new, go back to something that they know and layer on the new stuff with the stuff they're very, very good at, all right? So she works on a 13. Most dogs are in this range, maybe a little bit lower. 13 for her doesn't make her head twist like this. It's not making her do backflips. It's that sensation, right? And so the reason we only use e-collar technologies is because it's that blunt sensation, that blunt stimulation, much like a medical TENS unit. It's not the old technology of shock, okay? So here we are, we'll get set up. All right, at a 13, I am going to give the command, press the button. You should hear the tone. The tone represents stimulation, and that's the sound box that we teach all our clients with. Only when it's completed does this turn off, and does the leash become loose. So again, it's about uncomfortable and comfortable. It's a little uncomfortable for that sensation to turn on, but it's like a fly has landed on you, right? And you can sit there and look at the fly, but if you know how to make the fly go away, right, the sensation stops. That's what we're teaching her. Complete it, it turns off. Here we are. Place. Good. Heel. Place. Good. All right. Your finger will slip on the button occasionally. That's what happens. But a tapping sensation is okay as long as it is on until completion or change in behavior, all right? Look back at some of our aggressive behavior modification tutorials, and in particular, the change in behavior, right, is when the defense has stopped, the aggression has stopped, but we do it through movement drills. So look back over that. So when I say change in behavior, that's exactly what I mean. Heel. Place. Good girl. That's good. Yes. All right. The bridge, right? I say good. Reinforcement is about to come. Place. I say yes, or I say the command again upon the release of food. All right. I have this leash here, again, to make sure that she succeeds. Heel. All right. I say heel and she stays. That's wrong. But I can control her through the leash. Here we are with a little more distance. Place. Good girl. Yes. Heel. All right, you can increase the distance. So, and you'll see me too, that I probably will stop a little bit short, and then she will keep moving forward, all right? Through repetition, she's gonna figure out how to make leash pressure stop and remote collar stop. And only the completion gets the food, all right? Let me run through it a couple times. All the talking I do in between, you can do this much faster, and the less time between repetitions, it will go a little bit smoother for you, okay? Here we are. Place. Good girl. Yes. Heel. Place. Good girl. Yes. Heel. All right, teaching level, guys. The head shouldn't be turned in a funny direction. It shouldn't be overly uncomfortable. But again, the fly that lands on your arm, it's uncomfortable. It's not painful, but you want it to go away. That's the trick here. Place. Good girl. All right, something too, you'll see me, I back away from the place cot when I'm getting the food. Leaving the place cot and losing her balance on the edge of it is uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt, but anybody walking through the woods that trips over a root, right? There's that sense that your heart rate has jumped up. You've lost your balance. No one looks for roots to trip over in the middle of the woods, right? Heel. Okay, from a little more distance, but I'm going to increase my pace so that she can complete it quicker, but I'm going to stop short, all right? Place. Good girl. Good girl. All right, I'm going to adjust the dial now. I'm going to go 50% higher of teaching level. 50% higher because leaving comes with consequence, all right? We talk a lot about teaching level, consequence level, and dangerous behavior level, all right? It's important to dial for this. So dial 50% higher. Leaving makes her lose her balance. The leash will help her get back to place, but a consequence level turns on, all right? Now, I said good when she completed that. I didn't give food. That's your positive reinforcement. The negative reinforcement is this turns off and the leash is loose. Remember, any reinforcement encourages behavior, any punishment discourages behavior. Okay, let's look at that again. Now, back down to teaching level, back down to 13. Place. Good girl. Look at your dial quick, dial up. Yes. All right, I said good girl. She knows exactly where she's supposed to be. I turn the remote off, the leash is loose, and being on place is comfortable, okay? So I can take a few moments to get some food out and feed her, all right?